Hello and welcome to Markets in Focus. My name is Joe Bell, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the most interesting financial market themes that I'm observing. So the market's experiencing a bit of volatility, and in some ways it coincides with interest rates, which are moving higher. Speaking of volatility, small cap stocks underperforming for months are breaking down from a key technical support area. And finally, the US dollar, somewhat mediocre here during the past several weeks, but over the past several months has been in an uptrend. Let's talk about if and when the Fed starts to increase that interest rate, historically, what's that meant for US dollar performance? So interest rates, this is a chart of the 10-year US Treasury yield, jumped up above 1.8% here recently. In anticipation for the Fed's first rate hike, potentially as early as March of 2022. During the start of 2022 this year, we've also seen not only a pickup in volatility, but we've seen overall interest rate momentum pick up significantly during the past few weeks, even though it's obviously been in an uptrend since late summer of last year. Now that's impacting several parts of the market. Obviously, we've had about a 7% pullback in the S&P 500 from its high to start this year. If you look at small caps specifically, they have lagged for quite some time. You can see on the chart here, the Russell 2000 basically was flat from January, February of last year, all the way through the start of this year, but has finally broken down below that key support area, which sort of defined that trading range it's been in for almost a year now. And that's significant because as we've been talking about market breadth, the participation in the stock market has been very weak, and small cap stocks have been one of those big culprits. And that's been a concern of ours for the past several months that we've talked about, really since late August, early September. Now, US dollar, as I talked about, it's been trading sideways here for the past several weeks. But if you look back over the past 6 months, it's really been an uptrend since May of 2021. Now, let's take a look at maybe what we should expect. In terms of interest rates rising and the anticipation that the Fed increases rate in the future, traditionally we think of higher interest rates, perhaps more demand for US bonds, which again could increase the value of the US dollar. What we've typically seen though, and there's an old adage in investments that says, buy the rumor, sell the news. And it may be the case for the US dollar here. If you look back historically, this chart here is the US dollar performance 6 months before and 6 months after the first Fed tightening. So when the Fed raises rates, what did the US dollar do for the 6 months before and 6 months after? And of course, just to kind of set the stage, we do expect the Fed to increase interest rates as early as March 2022. So this could be coming up, this scenario could be coming into play here during the early part of this year. Now, over the last 8 Fed cycles, what we've typically seen is we do see an increase in the US dollar momentum, like we have seen, like I said, since the summer of last year into that Fed rate hike. But on average, over the past 8 cycles, the following 6 months after the Fed actually raises interest rates, US dollar starts to decline. So again, the market is a forward-looking mechanism, and the US dollar tends to react to that anticipation of rate hikes ahead of time. And then perhaps you start to see that momentum sell off as that has already been priced in to the movement in the currency ahead of time. So just an interesting thing from a currency perspective. And I also, happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm in Ohio. It's cold. The days are short. I know it's short on the Northern Hemisphere for everyone throughout the US. Some people are still staying warm. Don't rub it in our faces here in Ohio, but still get out there. We had a fun weekend. My son, my wife, my son, and her mother came into town. We were able to go skiing and take my son, who's almost 2, out first. Not old enough to ski, but he did go down on his new Wolf tube there. Pretty exciting, had a lot of fun. So just remember, get out there. I know there's not a lot of daylight and sometimes it can be cold, especially in the Midwest, Northeast, but still get out there, get some fresh air during this time and every time, but just kind of take advantage of this. And we had a nice snow day weekend for the family. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.